Party people!
Aspen is here, crisp and crystal clear.
That little touch of lemon makes it taste so right.
This right here was the OG of diet soda in the 1980s, and while this cola here was the rebel of the 1990s. But the most notorious of all is probably this one here, nicknamed 90s Gamer Fuel. In today's video, we'll be unraveling a list of 30 most popular sodas from the good old days that no longer exist today. Number 1. Crystal Pepsi. Crystal Pepsi wasn't only a soda, it was a bold experiment that screamed innovation in the early 90s. Released in 1992, it was Pepsi's attempt to break the mold, quite literally. Instead of the dark caramel color of traditional colas, the drink was completely clear, symbolizing purity and a more healthy choice.
Bill? Perfect timing. We're finally ready to relaunch Crystal Pepsi.
In a time when consumers were becoming curious about what they were taking in. Despite its unique look, the taste wasn't much different from Pepsi, and that left many people scratching their heads. Pepsi heavily marketed it as being futuristic and aired a memorable Super Bowl commercial. But while it initially made a splash, the novelty wore off by 1994, and Crystal Pepsi was pulled from the shelves.
Surge, life's a scream.
Hey guys, that was pretty funny. Seriously.
Number 2. Surge. If you grew up in the 90s, chances are you remember Surge, the ultimate drink for anyone who wanted an extra burst of energy. This bright neon green soda wasn't only a beverage, it was a lifestyle. Introduced by Coca-Cola in 1997, it was bold and citrus flavored and was created as a head-to-head for Mountain Dew. Over-the-top marketing campaigns and extreme sports and wild stunts made it a favorite amongst kids and teens, and it quickly gained a cult following. But despite its popularity, it couldn't keep up with competition and was pulled in 2003. Fans didn't let it disappear that easily, though. Years later, an online movement with petitions and campaigns convinced Coke to bring Surge back for a limited time. And for those who got to experience the revival, it was a fizzy blast from the past. Number 3. Jolt Cola. Jolt Cola was a cultural phenomenon, especially in the 80s and 90s. With its slogan, "All the sugar and twice the caffeine," it became the ultimate go-to drink for anyone needing a boost.
It's a question of taste.
College students chugged it to power through late-night study sessions, and programmers relied on it to push through coding marathons. Launched in 1985, it was way ahead of the energy drink craze and came in a distinctive red and blue can with lightning bolts that practically screamed at you to wake up. Despite the cult following, it struggled to keep up with changing tastes and competition from modern drinks like Red Bull and Monster, and by the late 2000s it was off the store shelves, leaving behind only fond memories of sleepless nights fueled by its sugary buzz.
Pepsi Blue, a new fusion of berry and cola.
Number 4. Pepsi Blue. Pepsi Blue made a bold splash in 2002, catching everyone's eye with its electric blue color and fruity berry-like flavor. Unlike regular colas, it was designed to stand out on the shelves and appeal to a younger crowd. The creators described it as a berry cola fusion with a twist aimed to bring a fresh vibe to the soda market, and despite its striking appearance, the hype surrounding its release, Pepsi Blue faced mixed reaction. Some loved its sweet and candy-like flavor, while others found it to be too unusual. Pepsi partnered with brands like MTV and even featured it at the 2003 Cricket World Cup, but despite all the buzz, it struggled to find a permanent fan base and was discontinued in 2004. Number 5. OK Soda. OK Soda was launched in 1993 by Coca-Cola and was one of the strangest and most short-lived beverages in history. It was marketed directly to Generation X with a campaign that embraced irony and a rebellious attitude. The soda's tagline, "OK," suggested it wasn't trying to be extraordinary, it was just fine. This was reflected in its mysterious taste, a blending of citrus and herbal flavors that didn't hit the mark. The advertising campaign featured cryptic commercials designed to appeal to the disillusioned Gen Xers who were tired of traditional and over-the-top marketing, and despite all of the hype, it failed to resonate with consumers. Sales tanked, and after a couple of years, it was quietly pulled from the shelves in 1995. Number 6. Tab. In the 1960s and 70s, Tab was a household name amongst those who were seeking a sugar-free alternative to traditional soda. Introduced by Coke in 1963, it was their first diet drink, sweetened with saccharin, a sugar substitute. The distinctive pink packaging and unique taste made it a favorite amongst many, but the arrival of Diet Coke in 1982 led to a decline in Tab's popularity. Despite this, it maintained a loyal fan base, with some enthusiasts creating a Save Tab Soda Committee in 2021 to advocate for its return. In October of 2020, Coke announced the discontinuation of Tab, along with several other beverages, as part of a strategy to streamline their lineup.
Go. Wow thing. You make my heart sing.
Number 7. 7-Up Gold. Have you ever heard of a spicy soda? Well, 7-Up Gold was a short-lived drink from the late 80s that had a cinnamon ginger flavor. It didn't taste anything like regular 7-Up, which confused a lot of people, and it quickly disappeared. Number 8. Coca-Cola Black Cherry Vanilla. Back in 2006, Coca-Cola shook things up with a bold new twist, Black Cherry Vanilla Coke. It was a daring mixture that combined rich and slightly tart taste of black cherry with the creamy sweetness of vanilla wrapped up in the iconic Coke formula. And the result? A flavor that splits opinions down the middle. Some adore its unique blending and considered it a refreshing change, while others found the combination to be too experimental for their taste buds. Despite the divisive nature, it quickly earned a devoted following. Fans could not get enough, describing it as a soda and sundae in one. But sadly, the drink only stuck around for a couple of years before disappearing from the shelves. Number 9. Hubba Bubba Soda. In the late 1980s, the Hubba Bubba brand, known for its bubble gum, ventured into the beverage market with Hubba Bubba Soda. Introduced in 1988, the drink had aimed to capture the sweet and nostalgic flavor of the gum, but in liquid form.
Hubba bubba you, hubba bubba bubble gum soda is new. Hubba bubba, it's so cool. Bubble gum soda.
Packaged primarily in a pink can adorned with bubble graphics and distinctive yellow Hubba Bubba logo, the soda quickly caught consumers' attention. It was widely available across the United States with notable distribution through retailers, and it was discontinued in the early 1990s due to waning interest and limited market demand. Today, it's remembered fondly for its quirky piece of beverage history, evoking nostalgia amongst those who experienced its brief presence on the store shelves. Number 10. RC Draft Cola. In the 1990s, RC Cola took a daring leap with RC Draft, a drink unlike anything else on the market. The idea was to mimic the smooth and foamy taste of draft beer, minus the alcohol. Marketed as a sophisticated soda for adults, it was packaged in dark beer-like bottles to emphasize the concept. At first, it seemed like a fun idea, especially for those who wanted draft beer vibes without drinking the beer, but it didn't resonate with consumers. While some appreciated the novelty, most were not sure what to make of it, and with limited interest in sales, it quickly fizzled out, leaving behind a quirky footnote in soda history. Number 11. Citra. In the mid-1990s, Coca-Cola introduced a citrusy gem called Citra, a soda that packed a zesty lime punch. It wasn't just another drink on the shelf, it was a refreshing alternative for those who craved a lighter and tangy twist compared to the usual sugary sodas. Its crisp and clean flavor quickly built a loyal fan base, with many praising it as the perfect thirst quencher on a hot day. But despite the following, it did not enjoy a long run. Coke eventually decided to replace it with Sprite Remix, which is still on the shelves today. Though Citra faded from the shelves, its memory lives on amongst enthusiasts who still long for its one-of-a-kind lime flavor. Number 12. Fresca Black Cherry. Fresca is known for its crisp and refreshing sugar-free sodas and holds a place on the shelves today, but one flavor from the 90s vanished: Black Cherry. This bold and tangy variation had a unique charm which set it apart from the usual drinks. Fans loved its slightly tart black cherry flavor, which paired perfectly with its signature citrusy base. For a time, Black Cherry Fresca was a hit, earning praise for its taste and versatility, and some even used it as a mixer in cocktails. But despite all that, it didn't stand the test of time, and by the early 2000s it disappeared from the market, leaving fans wondering why.
Got the taste, we got the twist.
Sprite doesn't have juice.
We got the juice, the
Number 13. Slice. Back in the 80s and 90s, Slice was the life of the party, standing out because many of its varieties were made with real fruit juice, giving it a slightly more natural edge compared to others of its time. The extra fruity kick made it an instant favorite, especially amongst those with children and families. Slice wasn't shy about competing with big names, and for a while it held its own. But as the soda wars heated up and new brands entered the scene, it couldn't keep its fizz. By the early 2000s, it disappeared from shelves, leaving everyone wondering where it went. Number 14. New Coke. In 1985, Coke made a bold and risky move that nearly backfired. They decided to change their recipe. Dubbed New Coke, the sweeter and smoother version was meant to compete with Pepsi that had been gaining ground in the cola wars, but the move also caused outcry unlike anything ever before.
This stuff is great.
Fans of the original formula felt betrayed, with some even staging a protest and hoarding cans of the old recipe like treasured relics. The backlash was so overwhelming that just 79 days later, Coke brought back the original under the name Coke Classic. The company admitted their mistake and returned to the classic recipe, and while they limped along for a few more years, rebranded as Coke 2, it was quietly discontinued in 2002. Number 15. Vanilla Coke. Vanilla Coke first hit the shelves in 2002 and was an instant hit for fans looking for a new twist on their favorite soda. The classic was infused with a smooth and creamy vanilla flavor, giving it a dessert-like quality that made it stand out. A nod to the old-fashioned soda fountains of the past, where vanilla syrup was often added to cola for a sweet treat. While it gained a loyal fan base, its journey was not smooth sailing. By 2005, it was pulled from most markets, leaving fans craving its nostalgic sweetness. Over the years, it's made several comebacks in limited runs in specific regions, sparking excitement every time it reappears.
Empty. Maybe some other soda, but this here is new Red Fusion from Dr. Pepper.
Number 16. Dr. Pepper Red Fusion. In 2002, Dr. Pepper decided to add a splash of red to its iconic soda, creating a brand new flavor called Red Fusion. A bold experiment that blended the classic 23-flavor formula with a bright twist of red fruit. It was rumored to be a mixture of berry flavors. The result was a drink that looked as striking as it tasted, with a vibrant crimson hue that stood out on store shelves. Despite its daring departure from tradition, it had a short-lived run, vanishing after only a year. Fans loved its fruity kick and appreciated the fresh take on their soda, while others thought it strayed too far from the original formula. Although it wasn't around long, it still holds a special place in the hearts of those who enjoyed its bold and unique flavor and daring style. Number 17. Orbits. Orbits wasn't only a soda, it was like a science experiment. Launched in the late 90s, it turned heads with its eye-catching design, colorful jelly-like balls suspended in clear liquid. Thanks to a special gel-based formula, the beads didn't sink or stick together, and that gave Orbits its signature lava lamp vibe. Marketed as a texturally enhanced alternative beverage, Orbits came in quirky flavors like raspberry citrus, vanilla orange, pineapple banana, cherry coconut. While it looked like a drink from the future, the taste was something else. Many found the flavor combinations odd, and the thick, syrupy texture did not win over the masses. The uniqueness couldn't sustain the shelf life, and it disappeared within a year. Today, it's remembered fondly as one of the weirdest and most creative drinks of the 90s. Number 18. Coke C2. In 2004, Coke introduced Coca-Cola C2, aiming to strike a middle ground between Classic Coke and Diet Coke. Marketed as a low-carb and reduced-calorie soda, it appealed to the early 2000s craze for cutting carbs and calories. With half the sugar and calories of regular Coke, it was designed for those wanting the full Coke taste without the guilt. It struggled to find its place in the market and couldn't compete with the already popular diet drinks, which had a loyal customer base, and despite its potential, C2 fizzled out in a couple of years and quietly disappeared from the shelves. Number 19. Crush Orange. Crush Orange had been a favorite for generations, but did you know the original recipe was different from the one we drink today? In the early days, it had a reputation for being sweet, rich, and bursting with intense orange flavor. and the original was made with real orange oil and cane sugar, which gave it a distinct and natural citrus zing. Over the years, the recipe evolved, switching to high fructose corn syrup and artificial flavoring. While it's still around and loved by many today, longtime fans insist today's version doesn't live up to the original. Number 20. Kickapoo Joy Juice. Back in the 1960s and 70s, a bold and quirky citrus soda named Kickapoo Joy Juice made its mark on American taste buds. Inspired by the Lil Abner comic strip, this fizzy drink took its name from a wild homemade moonshine featured in the comics. It was a hit during its heyday, becoming a favorite amongst those who loved its tangy and refreshing taste, and today it's still produced in limited quantity. However, it's only available overseas, particularly in Southeast Asia. It's nearly impossible to get in the United States, making it a rare gem in the world of nostalgic soda. Number 21. Coca-Cola Black. In 2006, Coca-Cola decided to think outside of the can and introduced Coca-Cola Black, a blending of cola and coffee. The unique creation was aimed at adults who craved a more sophisticated caffeine kick, featuring a rich and slightly bitter taste that combined the familiar Coke with the deep-roasted flavor of coffee. It was a daring move and completely new for the soda world, but was too ahead of its time. Coffee-based drinks were not the trend they are today, and many people didn't know what to make of it. While it attracted a niche group of adventurous fans, it wasn't enough to keep it around for long, and after 2 years, it faded away. Number 22. Cherry 7-Up. Cherry 7-Up was the perfect mashup of sweet and tangy, adding a burst of cherry flavor to classic lemon-lime soda. First introduced in the 80s, it quickly became a hit with soda lovers, offering a unique twist that stood out in a sea of soft drinks. Its bright cherry taste, paired with the crisp, clean finish of 7-Up, made it feel like summertime in a bottle, and through the late 80s and 90s, it was a go-to choice for those who crave something refreshing. It was especially popular at parties, barbecues, and as a mixer for cocktails. However, as time went on, finding it on the shelves became a challenge. Number 23. Dr. Pepper Berries and Cream. In 2006, Dr. Pepper took its iconic soda to a bold new adventure with the launch of Dr. Pepper Berries and Cream. The unique flavor added a fruity sweet berry twist to Dr. Pepper's famous blend, topped off with a smooth and creamy finish, and it became a drink that felt like dessert in a can. Fans described it as rich and indulgent and unlike anything else in the market, and it quickly gained a loyal following that couldn't get enough. However, despite its charm, Dr. Pepper Berries and Cream didn't stick around for long, and by 2007 it was off the shelves. Number 24. RC Cola Moonshine. In the 1950s, Royal Crown Cola decided to push the boundaries of soda innovation with a quirky creation called Moonshine Soda. Unlike traditional cola flavors, Moonshine had a zesty, citrusy kick that set it apart from anything else on the shelves. Its bright and tangy taste was refreshing, but it was the name that really captured people's attention. Who wouldn't be curious about a soda inspired by the rebellious spirit of homemade moonshine? It became a novelty favorite and a fun departure from the usual soda options, and while its time on the market would be short-lived, it remains a nostalgic memory for those lucky enough to have sipped its bold and citrusy fizz during its heyday. Number 25. Aspen Soda. Aspen Soda was a bold experiment of the late 1970s that brought something unique to the soda world, a sparkling apple-flavored drink. The first of its kind, it delivered a crisp and refreshing taste that felt like biting into a juicy apple with every sip. Initially, it had gained a solid fan base, with its apple-forward flavor being celebrated as both refreshing and innovative. Advertised as the taste of crisp, it appealed to those who were looking for a drink that felt less heavy, but still packed a flavorful punch. Unfortunately, despite its initial success, it fizzled out in the early 80s, quietly disappearing from the shelves. Number 26. Fanta Pineapple. Fanta had always been known for experimenting with flavors, but one classic that truly stood out was its original pineapple soda from the 1960s. It was packed with a tropical punch that felt like a sunny vacation in a bottle, and the recipe was sweet with a rich and bold flavor that instantly transported you to a beachside paradise. Fans loved how it perfectly captured the tangy and juicy essence of fresh pineapple while still being fizzy, and it became a summer favorite with people raving about its refreshing and unique taste. Unfortunately, the formula would change over the years, and today's version doesn't have the same tropical kick. Number 27. Kick Cola. In the 1950s, Pepsi decided to spice up the cola wars with a bold new contender in Kick Cola. It was the ambitious answer to Coke and certainly packed a punch. Known for a strong and robust flavor, it had aimed to stand out in a market where cola dominance was hotly contested, but despite the gutsy name and unique flavor profile, it never managed to reach the iconic status of its rival. Over time, Pepsi realized it was better off focusing on the growing popularity of its namesake cola and other innovative offerings, and when the dust settled, Kick Cola quietly disappeared from the shelves, leaving behind only a faint memory for those who got to try it. Number 28. Knee-High Soda. Knee-High was a beloved American brand that became a symbol of colorful and fruity refreshment in the mid-20th century. Known for vibrant arrays of flavors, including grape, peach, orange, and others, it quickly became a favorite in diners and soda fountains across the country. Its bold and refreshing taste, when paired with its eye-catching colors, made it a popular choice for a sweet treat, especially on a hot summer day. Its heyday in the 50s and 60s made an impact on pop culture, and today it still exists, but many of its original flavors have faded from the market. Number 29. Coke Lime. In the early 2000s, Coke introduced a refreshing flavor in Coke Lime. It took on the familiar classic Coke with a zesty twist of bright, tangy kick of lime, and for fans of citrus, it was a whole new take on their favorite soda. The tangy lime made it feel vibrant and lively, adding a burst of freshness. Coke Lime quickly became a favorite for everyone who enjoyed their drinks with a little extra zing, but like many limited edition flavors, it didn't stick around long. Fans were disappointed when it disappeared from the shelves, and many still talk about it fondly today. Number 30. Canada Dry Wink. Wink was a unique citrus soda that hit the market in the 60s. The bold and refreshing drink stood out with a distinct grapefruit-like flavor that was tangy and full of zest. Unlike other sodas, Wink offered a more intense and tart taste that made it unforgettable for everyone who tried it. It never managed to achieve nationwide success and was eventually discontinued, and as a result it became a rare find, sparking curiosity and nostalgia amongst enthusiasts who remember its bold and one-of-a-kind taste. Which of these do you remember, and are there any that I missed that still bubble up in your memory? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel for more blasts from the past. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.